Music producer and artist RJ Benjamin chats to Andile Ndlovu about retiring from the limelight, producing music for others, maybe even the likes of Adele, his love of local music, and sharing his fan base with everyone.
Reasons why I'm leaving the industry. I mean, there's a few, and obviously it's taken me a long time to come to this conclusion. But I think really just being an artist in the truest sense, that doesn't represent me. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not built for it. And I know then, okay, people are going to go, but what are you talking about? Of course you are. That's just crap, blah, blah, blah. But I know even as a child, I was very private and shy about my music. But it's not that I didn't believe that I couldn't sing. It's not that I didn't believe I couldn't create music. But it was always a very private thing. I was already collecting songs in my head from maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I've still got those songs, still, to this day. But no one really knew about it. No one even knew that I could necessarily sing, other than, I don't know, maybe my immediate family. But like a lot of people in school were very shocked that I was suddenly like a musician, for example. And yeah, the first time I probably ever sang publicly, I was in my school hall, and the piano was there, and I just don't know what came over me. I decided I would go to the piano and sing one of my songs, and next thing there were all these girls around me when I looked up, and they were crying, which was an interesting reaction. It was a sad song, of course. I love sad songs, but it was an interesting reaction. And but I mean, that was really the first time. It didn't necessarily mean anything other than, okay, well, that there's power in this, sure. But I think something inside me, always said, I don't want to be the guy in the front of that stage. I just want to make music. I love making music. Yeah, okay, I know. Some people think I can sing. I'm not saying I don't think I can sing. I think I can sing. Yes, I have faith in my voice. But that's not the be all and end all. If I could be an artist and my career would only be me in the studio recording songs and then releasing them, and then I would never have to be seen.
No promo.
No promo, no interviews with you guys, or like things like that. I probably would take it. I think in many ways I'm a little bit of a reclusive human being. I'm a private human being. That's not to say I don't love making music, but that's why in a way for me, my path is not as an artist. My path is maybe discovering other artists. I'm a good teacher as well, and I really believe in my gift as a music teacher and a singing teacher specifically. So it only makes sense that therefore my path is finding talent, nurturing that talent, making music for that talent, writing songs for that talent. And so I definitely think that's the route I need to take. For me, I will feel better as a human being. I believe that I can contribute more to this industry doing that. Sometimes I've been on stage and, like I know I've got these feelings inside me, or, sometimes I'll read Twitter and then like I'll read a comment, and then I'll be like, damn, they just bust me. They just realized that, yeah, they found me. I get that kind of like sense, it's not a sense of, oh, how can they say that? I feel so sad, it's more a sense of, I think they just found me out, because I know inside me, that's what I'm thinking, and yeah, I mean, look, I love performing music with my band, don't get me wrong, but to thousands of people, sometimes it's not really my thing. If it was a couple of people in a restaurant or something like that, I'm not saying I want to do covers. I'm saying my own music, but telling my story, that's a different scenario. Maybe I am a little bit of an introvert, and maybe some people are going to go, that's nonsense, but I promise you, it's not. Yeah.
So I mean, but this whole move strikes me as RJ Benjamin saying, I've got nothing to prove. I can take a step. Whatever direction at this point in my career now, where I can make those decisions and not have any regrets about it.
I think so. I think in many ways it is that, and obviously I can understand why that could be difficult for people to understand or interpret or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I really do feel like at this point I'm in a position where I can now decide to not be that front guy. and be the guy that makes the music, you know, and be quite comfortable with that, you know, be quite happy with that. Look, I've got one more album to push, which is obviously coming out Feb 2012. I'm not saying I'm not going to push it. It's my responsibility to do what I can. It's, you know, it's still my album, it's still my baby, you know, which for any artist they'll probably say the same thing. You know, but once that happens, I will be slowing down. I've got a record deal in France, which I'm going to, you know, obviously try and take advantage of. But even they know, you know, that the bigger picture here is to try and brand me as a creative musician who could potentially produce music for other people. That this album is an album that RJ produced, and he wrote these songs, and he could write and produce these kind of songs for you. And that I think is the direction I'm going to take. So look, for me, bigger picture, maybe in the future, you know, well, maybe even next year, is go off to Europe and try and start building my brand as a producer and a songwriter, and hopefully, you know, start producing and writing for some international acts.
Nice. So if you're talking about France, are you going to move to France, or you don't necessarily have to be there?
I don't know at this moment. Look, my girlfriend lives in London. So I've been traveling a bit this year. Long distance ain't easy. Yeah. But, you know, so I mean, like, in a way, like, that kind of makes me think maybe I should go live in Europe. It's very hard though. Hey, I mean, I love South Africa.
Well, I mean, so, if you do go to London, yeah, who knows, might be producing some other, you know,
maybe Adele.
Abbey Studios doing Adele's third album.
You know. Who knows? I mean, I think you do need to be there to get those opportunities though. So I've got to work this out, really, you know. I mean, to live in South Africa and try and work there, maybe it won't be easy enough. Maybe I will have to move to Europe. I've made no decisions yet, but, you know, I am thinking about this right now. And of course, I think it does depend on the success of the album in France. You know, they have mentioned that they might release it in the UK, which obviously works out for me. But let's see, you know, if it is successful, then obviously I can justify going there. You know, if it's not, well, I've got a fan base, but I've also got a client base of people whose music I produce here, and you know, that's a guarantee. So if it doesn't happen there, you know, I'll come to my motherland.
No, so I mean, a lot of, and this is not being critical or anything, but a lot of artists will say, yeah, this is my last album, I'm retiring, whatever it is. Are you putting it, you know, in stone? Are you etching it in stone to say, this is my last album, I'm never ever gonna, you know, release another album in South Africa?
I think the reason why I call it retirement is because maybe I'll come out, but I will say this: it's gonna be a long time. I've got a lot of thinking to do. I've got a lot of soul searching to do. I've got a lot of honesty, you know, that I need to, like questions I need to put to myself, and I really do feel like in order to do that, I need to step back, you know, because if in 5 years or 10 years I do come back, then I can't still be that private, shy, reclusive human being that I am, you know. So we'll have to see what happens.
And you talked about you loving teaching and producing and, you know, songwriting and stuff. I know that Idols was season 4. I think it was season 4. Runner up, Gift, isn't it?
Yeah, Gift.
He's been very keen to work with you. Who are some of the people that have either approached you or that you're already working with right now to you know, produce music for?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've actually had lunch with Gift a couple of weeks back. You know, he came from Cape Town to meet, and I've worked with Gift before. It's nice to see him back. I think he's a very, very, very talented artist. There's several artists that I want to work with and that I am working with at the moment, and we're trying to push an alternative to the music that I think gets attention by sticking together. You know, there's a list, a couple or more. I know who's recently. He and I engage in loads of conversations. I didn't really have anything to do with his album. I featured on a track, you know. But I like what he's doing, and
he's been a breath of fresh air.
He's been a breath of fresh air, you know, and I really respect. I respect that in a big way. You know, there's other acts, Notende, Pebbles. There's a singer named Kitty who's a great artist, and she just doesn't get attention, man. But this girl, and I've known her for probably 11, 12 years. I met her when I was studying music. She was doing sound engineering. she was singing better than most of the guys doing music. You know, I mean, she's very talented. I want to see her exposed. Max Harbour is another artist. Gift is one of them as well. There's a bunch of Cape Town acts that, you know, for me, I love. They don't get enough exposure in Joburg. Well, we don't get enough exposure in Cape Town. We've got to try and cross-pollinate though, you know, and I don't feel like it's happening enough. I feel like the country's like, there's Durban, there's Cape Town, there's Joburg, there's, you know.
So you see, are you saying you're seeing a gap that you could sort of exploit and bring out these artists because they're not coming through as they should?
Most definitely. I mean, I'm not saying I've got like the biggest fan base in the world, but if we all stand together, you know, as a soul collective, so to speak, we can have a decent audience in this country. I think a lot of people in this country probably wouldn't mind a little bit more soul or jazz or funk or R&B or whatever the case may be, as opposed, you know, an alternative to the Afro pop, the gospel, you know, the Afrikaans market or house music, and I believe the only way we can really create that is by banding together and saying, I support you, you support me, I support you, because they've got a pool of fans that probably isn't the same as mine. But like, imagine if I can give them my fans and vice versa, and we can start building what I call a groundswell, and then suddenly we've got a soul movement in this country, a decent, legitimate soul movement. And the danger is that artists, you know, by nature are fairly selfish. So, you know, they're like, I don't want to give you my fans. I don't know, these are mine. You know, that kind of thing. And I'm trying. I mean, I really am right now. I'm meeting with all these guys. I'm trying to have conversations and say, let's not be selfish here. I want to give you all my fans. I want to give you every single fan I have. It may not be as many fans as, I don't know, the biggest act in the country, but it doesn't matter, you know, because at the end of the day, it's something. And then, you know, let's do this together. Because imagine if I give you my fans, he gives your fans, you give me my, you know, like eventually all these people suddenly realize, you know what, we've got some legitimate acts in this country, alternative to the acts that I'm, you know, always hearing and always seeing, and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? 3 of them are performing at this club. I'm gonna go, and we pack up the club and we build this fan base and this music. You know, we haven't really ever done that in this country. It's always been, especially with like the soul R&B sort of movement, it's been a very kind of, you'll see one act somewhere, that's it, you know, and heaven forbid you try and sort of work with that act, or, you know, like you know, or they mention your name, or please, man. There's loads of artists I love in this country, and I've got too much respect for, and I want to push them. I want to create a movement. I really do. And even if I'm not the front guy, which I don't want to be, I want to at least be helping these guys with whatever fan base I have created.